Church modes are also known as diatonic modes, and they are a set of musical modes that were used in the medieval church music and Gregorian chants. And they predate the major and minor scale system that we use today in Western music. Although you will find that the major and minor scales that we know are actually based in church modes. So again, the reason that they're called diatonic modes is because they are a series of 8 notes that follow a particular succession of whole steps and half steps. And the easiest way to identify where the whole steps and the half steps are to actually go through these church modes, starting in just using the white keys of the piano. So starting from C to C. So the first church mode starts on C, goes up to C, and it is called the Ionian Mode. And this is what we know as the major scale. We know from the major scale that the half steps exist between the 3rd scale degree and the 4th scale degree, and the 7th and 8th scale degrees. So that is the Ionian mode. Now, if we were to go from D to D, we notice that the half steps shift. Again, only using the white keys. This is called the Dorian mode. And you will see that the half steps exist between the 2nd and the 3rd scale degrees and the 6th and the 7th scale degrees. The next scale going from E to E is called the Phrygian mode. And you will notice that the half steps again have shifted now between the 1st and the 2nd scale degree, and then between the 5th and the 6th scale degree. Then the next mode going from F to F is the Lydian mode. And that sounds like this. So now we have the half steps between the 4th and the 5th degrees and the 7th and the 8th degrees. Okay? The next one is the Mixolydian mode. And so you will see that the half steps are now between the 3rd and 4th degrees and the 6th and 7th degrees. The next scale, the next mode, is the Aeolian mode. The Aeolian mode is also known as the natural minor scale. Okay, so the Ionian mode is the major scale. The Aeolian mode is the natural minor scale. Okay, and so again, using the white keys only, going from A to A, you notice that the half steps are between the 2nd and 3rd degrees and from the 5th and 6th degrees. Okay, and then the last mode that we have is the Locrian mode. And the Locrian mode goes from B to B. And the half steps there are between the 1st and 2nd degrees of the scale and the 4th and 5th degrees of the scale. So the thing is that just because I told you how to do them on only the white keys of the piano doesn't mean that these modes can't be transposed. Absolutely, they can be transposed. They can be transposed to any key signature that you want. All you need to do is take notice of where the half steps lie. Remember, it's the half steps. There are only 2 half steps in each mode, and that all the rest are whole steps. Now, modes are used in music, in Western music today, and oftentimes jazz musicians really play with these modes when they are trying to find scales and modes to create their improvisation on. But understanding modes and how the Western major and minor scales come from them is just an important aspect of understanding harmony and melody in music theory.